Hi, can you hear me?
Hi- Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought I just turned
Okay.
my mic off, but I turned it
Okay.
on. So it's good. Hi.
Hi.
I want to just launch right into this with no preamble or anything because this is just a
Let's do
conversation.
it.
I'm not going to talk about your cute haircut or where you are. Or you're in your co-working space, I think.
I am in my co-working space. Yes, I
I
am.
love it. So this is just a conversation about the incredible job you've done in launching your business and focusing it. And I want to have this conversation because so many, I mean, because you hear me all the time, that I'm just hammering away at this all the time, that you have to choose, you have to specify. It's like book coaches can't just say help all the writers or help all the writers in this genre, or like there's so many ways to narrow your focus. And my lecture is always about how narrowing your focus makes everything easier to talk about what you do, to market, to all the things. So I just want to talk about your journey to where you are now. And I know there's a whole personal journey attached to it as well, but this is about the business journey. So could you start by telling us what you do as a book coach today,
Okay.
what your great vision is, and what you do.
Okay. So I work with LGBTQ plus memoir writers, and I help them start and finish memoirs they'll be proud to share with the world. So my intention is that they do want to publish in some way. They want to publish the best book they're capable of writing. And I writers come to me generally in one of two places. They have an idea, but they have no idea how to start. They've never written a book before. And I help them build the foundation for their memoir and get a first draft written. Or they come to me, they have a draft, maybe they've tried to query it, it's not working, they don't know what's wrong, but they know something's wrong. So then we can do an evaluation and then help them in the revision process. So that's the one-on-one work I've been doing, and I have a bigger vision, which I'm about to step into, which is to create a community, a cohort of LGBTQ plus memoir writers, and help them on their journey, with their own individual writing, but also build this community of queer writers that they will have long after they've left me. And it's, as far as I know, it doesn't exist. And if it does exist somewhere, there's plenty of room for more communities. Because I've been part of lots of different writing communities, because I'm also, as you know, a memoir writer myself, and have know the value of that community, and being in a community where you're not othered, or you're not afraid of microaggression or being judged, and that people get that you don't have to explain yourself. I think is what my vision of what I want to create. So that's the
I
next
mean,
step on the journey.
this is just huge. It's just huge. And I've had the privilege of watching your journey from the start as a book coach and somewhat as a writer. But just to go back to, so you've been certified, like
Almost 2 years.
I was gonna
I was
say that.
certified. I was certified in the spring of 2020. So I was finishing up my practicums during early pandemic, and first certified in fiction, and then in nonfiction, and did the memoir course to round out the training. Yeah.
And now you're doing VIP level 4 business mastermind, which is where some of this work has come to fruition. But I just want to go back to you as a newly certified book coach, because what I remember about you at that time was, I mean, you're a fast mover and a fast thinker and ambitious. And you've shared with me that you're at your age, which is my age, like you don't have time to
close enough
to wait, you know, you don't have time
right.
to you don't feel like you have time. But I remember in the beginning, all of that energy was kind of a frantic energy. It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. No, I'm going to do this other thing. I'm going to blow it all up and I'll add this and I'll add that. And it was very disordered and not grounded and certainly didn't, from my perspective, have momentum or it didn't feel like a thing. And it now feels like it's such a thing, like it has weight and gravitas. And like my measure of the book coaches in our community this is my measure of a book coach doing really well, is that when I'm out on a podcast or doing an interview talking about what we do at Author Accelerator, the coaches that come into my head are the ones in my mind that are doing well, just because I can remember what they do and I can say what they do as an example, that it's so specific and it's so clear. And that's what marketing is, right?
Yeah.
Is it if all the coaches in our community know, oh, I get an LGBTQ plus writer, memoir writer, they go to Suzette. Like that's not what I do. I send them to Suzette. Like then you become known as that in our community. You become known out in the wider community. You're building that reputation in your community. You're building your own community. Like it's just ripples of impact. And do you remember the beginning in the same way I do?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I think that an analogy is coming to my mind. In a former life, I was a lawyer, and I was one of those people that went to law school because I liked school, but I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. I didn't really know why I was going, other than the fact that I liked school and I was a good student. I got accepted. And then when the reality came of actually practicing law, I was kind of lost because I didn't have that clear why. I didn't have that clear passion for, why I was practicing law. And I think that in some ways there was somewhat of a similar thing with the book coaching. I knew I loved to edit. I knew I loved, writing. I knew all of those things, but I didn't have a very clear vision of what, who I was going to serve. I knew I wanted to work with nonfiction writers. I was pretty sure I wanted to focus on memoir, but beyond that, I didn't have a vision. And so I think that, people come to book coaching. Some of them have a very clear idea of like, this is why I want to do it, who I want to serve, and all of that. And then some people were probably more like I was. They have a general idea and they know this is the work they want to do, but then they have to kind of feel their way into it. So I think for me, it may have looked like flailing on the outside, and it probably was. It probably was.
Use that word.
Yeah. Well, it probably was, but it was trying to kind of figure it out, and because of my personality type, that's hard for me. I mean, I really am someone who likes to have that clarity and just go all in and go whatever, and not having that was hard. And it also made me feel a little panicky at times, like you were saying, the frenetic energy. Like when I didn't have a lot of clients, and then I started worrying, am I ever going to get clients in there? And so then this frenetic energy is, you're trying this, you're trying that. And I think when I finally sort of settled down, and you, among other people, helped me settle me down at different points along the road, just sort of trusting, calming down, trusting the process, then clarity began to emerge. Clients began to come to me. I got referrals not only from Author Accelerator, but I started getting referrals from that were good matches for me from other coaches. And things just started to gel. And yet I still didn't put the stake in the ground until, for a while, because there was still that fear of, well, I like working with, I like straight people. I mean, I consider myself a straight person for, 50 something years of my life. So like, if I say I just work with LGBTQ memoir writers, well, what's going to happen and all that. So
it's that fear of saying no to anyone, of closing any door. There's that sense that you have to serve everyone or no one will come. Like it's such a scarcity mentality. And it's a thing that I think every coach fights at every level. I still fight it at every level. It's really hard to say no, to start out your entire messaging or business by saying no. And it's almost like, it feels audacious. Like, who am I to say no to anybody? Like, and I think there's also an ego thing that I know I experience, that like, well, I could help anybody. I could help you and I could help you and I could help you. So shouldn't I, if I can? So, it's a mindset shift, but you had something really cool happen. I recall that really as soon as you made the decision to focus, things started coming your way. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I made the decision to focus on LGBTQ plus memoir writers, although I hadn't put it on my website yet. I hadn't changed my messaging yet. Although I was on the cusp of that. And I had a writer who came to me from, we were in a Facebook group together, a later in life, coming out later in life Facebook group. And she was actually a fairly experienced writer. And so she reached out to me and she said, I've tried to write my memoir 3 times and I'm ready to, do it right this time and work with the coach. And we had this great conversation and she signed up to, do my first package. And I said to her, I just have to tell you, this is really exciting because you're my ideal client. And, and I told her why, and she's like, well, you're my ideal book coach. And I was like, oh, that's so great. And, she was like, I know a lot of, she said I know a lot of writing coaches and I've worked with them before. And, I wanted to work with somebody who got it. I wanted to work with somebody who I didn't have to explain my story. She's the one who used the microaggression language and judgment. And it was so affirming. It was just so affirming. And actually yesterday, I didn't even tell you this because this is hot off the press. Yesterday, I had a discovery call with now another new client who was referred to me by one of our Author Accelerator coaches, again, because they know, hey, a queer memoir writer comes, send them to Suzette. So this writer is a younger queer woman who is like totally my ideal client. She has a million stories that she thinks she wants to tell. She needs, to get clarity from the start and all of that. And it just was so easy in the sense of like, I just, she had looked at my website. She knew my pricing. She knew what I did. I asked her to tell me about her story. She told me about her story. I told her what I do. Does that sound like a good fit? Yes. And it just, sent her the contract and she paid it all in one day, and so it feels so good. It feels so good and so right.
I love that you use the word easy because we have a term that we teach people to craft an easy offer, which is exactly what you say. It's easy for the coach to explain and to market, and it's easy for the writer to say, yes, that's mine. And the ease is not necessarily that it's cheap or easy to do. It's just easy to see the value. It's easy to say yes to. And that concept is, as we've been talking about, harder to get to than one might imagine, but you really have to do what you did, which is, who is this going to be easy for to say yes to? And then, there's a whole other side of, how is this going to be easy for me to deliver and to bring people in? But that's the beauty of what you've done, is the choices you've made and the courage you've had in picking and in sticking to it. And I know, I mean, we don't have to go into that here. I know that there's doubt, and you flip flop in your minds, like, did I do the right thing? And can I pull the off? And blah, blah, blah. But that's part of it too, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about this because we have a mutual colleague, Nicole Lewis Keeper, who, is a business therapist and wrote a great book called, How to Love Your Business. And I've done some work with Nicole, and, your business is, you're in a relationship with your business, and you bring everything to that relationship, like you do with every relationship you have. And the irony is that my memoir, which I will be pitching this month, it is really ready this time. It's called Graveyard of Safe Choices, and it really is about having lived this life of being very risk averse and taking and making safe choices. And I recognize that that's part of what has happened in the business as well, is that not choosing feels risky. And it is risky to a certain degree. But it's the way forward. And I mean, I know that now, and I completely believe it. Doesn't mean that it's easy to do it, especially when you are risk averse. But I've had enough experience in other parts of my life to know that this is my path going forward. It's not to revert to the old patterns of playing it safe and playing small and all of the things. I mean, I know what that looks like, and I don't want to do that anymore. So
I love it. You're so inspiring. And just to close this out, I would love to ask for the pitch part of this, which would be, if somebody's listening and they're thinking about becoming a book coach or doing our programs, or coming all the way through the certification to the business part of it, would you say that it helped you?
Oh yeah, I do. I remember, I'll just tell you, I think maybe you know this, because I had been doing what I would call book coaching, editing, book coaching, before I joined the certification program. And I remember thinking, I'm not sure I really need this. I mean, I know what I'm doing, and I mean, do I really need to spend the money, the time, all the things? Well, let's just say I didn't know what I didn't know. And it has been, I mean, I think it's a huge bargain, first of all. I mean, I'm just going to say that, so get in while the price is still a little reasonable as is. I think it's a huge bargain, because it is so, the course itself is so meaty, and then being part of the community through the Money Networks, and just being able to ask questions, engage, all of that. I mean, it was great when I was still in training, and now that I'm certified, it's my go-to. Anytime I have a question, as you know, I'm pretty active in the group. And then the business mastermind. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you, unless you're maybe a serial entrepreneur who's run businesses before knows how to, market and doing all the things. Most of us are not in that situation. Most of us are, coming from a different kind of career. Yeah, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't be where I am right now. And even saying yes to that VIP mastermind was a leap for me, because I definitely felt like I wasn't ready. But I also felt like this was a great opportunity for me. And, I was given the opportunity, so I was going to go for it. And I'm super happy I have. We haven't even had our first call yet. And I feel like, I know, but I feel like I've gotten my money's worth already. Because I wouldn't have done that deep work that I've done to prepare for our first call had I not made that, investment and that commitment. So,
well,
I'm an ambassador. I'm a cheerleader.
It's been a thrill to watch your progress, and I can't wait to watch the next phase. And your vision is powerful and beautiful and meaningful, and I think it's just going to be full of joy and also challenge, but that's what we're here for, right?
Yep, absolutely. No, I'm really excited. I have a vision how it's all going to unfold, and how I'm going to get there is still remains to be seen, but I'm excited. I'm really excited about it, and to know that I'm going to be supported throughout it. So
yeah,
that feels really good.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. That was
welcome.
Lovely. And we will talk soon.
Sounds great. Okay. All right.
Bye.